Welcome back, everyone. It was a murder that shocked the nation back in 1996. One of the most influential rappers of all time, Tupac Shakur, killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. Last week, police made an arrest in his murder for the first time in 27 years. Dwayne Keith Davis, known as Keffa D, was cuffed and appeared in court for the first time yesterday in Vegas. The 60-year-old was supposed to be arraigned for murder, but Davis said his defense attorney needed 2 weeks to arrange to be present. So the judge delayed his arraignment until October 19th. So let's talk about this case once again with criminal defense attorney Hector Diaz. All right, Hector, let's take folks back here. This was a decades-long investigation, and for years, Davis has said publicly that he was in the front seat of the car that pulled up along Tupac's car when shots rang out. And then police even seized a copy of Davis's memoir where he wrote about the shooting of Shakur, and he even described himself in prison on a manslaughter charge in an unrelated case. So in light of all this, why did it take 27 years to make an arrest?
You know, really puzzling. And, defense attorneys, I think when they dig in, that's going to be one of the first questions that they ask in terms of, it has been public, as you indicated, publicly known that Mr. Davis, put himself there at the scene. I mean, there are articles that have been written in, various publications. There's I think a reporter for Rolling Stone that came out and really tied a lot of this years and years ago. And so, there's a question in terms of now, why now?
Yeah.
Right? What has changed? And I don't know if this DA is whether he is a political appointee or whether it's something that he ran for office. And so there's going to be a lot of questions in terms of, is this done simply to gain political, any kind of favor?
Right. Or
Or is there really something that has changed? Is there new concrete evidence? I think you indicated there was a search of his home. And so was there some physical evidence? Yeah. Again, there's also other information that we're probably not privy to at this point, which could be that maybe an informant came forward and gave some additional information that they didn't have before. And so
how hard will it be for prosecutors to make a conviction?
Well, it's going to be, they've been really putting forth the confession, right? They've been playing it over and over in terms of, that he not just puts himself there in the car, but that he in fact handed the gun to the back seat, that he gave the gun to the back seat. So he's not charged as being the shooter, but in Nevada as in Arizona, he is charged as essentially providing assistance, in terms of furthering this crime that ultimately led to Tupac's murder. And so I think that as, defense lawyers look and unravel this case a bit, they're going to look to see, well, okay, great. But what ties him? Is there, in addition to his confession, is there any other evidence? Are there other witness statements? We know that the 3 individuals that were in the car with him are deceased. They all died in somewhere, in fact, murdered. And so it's going to be interesting whether there was any physical evidence that they obtained, gun shell, any other written notes, any other memoirs, because no doubt Mr. Davis is going to come forward and say, well, I lied.
Right,
those were documentaries, and really I was just trying to kind of exaggerate here for purposes of the documentary. And I'm also, trying to get some street credibility potentially. And so interesting case to say the least.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, especially come October 19th when he has his defense attorney present. Okay, I want to move now on to the topic of AI, which just made international headlines this week after some young schoolgirls in Spain received fake nude images of themselves that were created by an easily accessible app powered by artificial intelligence, which raises a larger discussion about how harmful these tools can be. There was even a similar case of fake nude photos in Michigan 2 months ago. So, Hector, I'm wondering, what kind of trouble can someone get over something like this?
Putting aside the civil lawsuit, right? If you can say who in fact did this, let's assume that you can prove this was a certain person who did it. At a minimum, you're talking harassment. Harassment could be a crime depending on what occurred. If these are images of, say, a minor, you're talking potentially possession of child pornography. So there's a whole litany of things that can potentially befall on somebody who uses an app like this and really engages in this kind of reckless conduct.
Yeah.
I mean, it's alarming.
And in this case in Spain, they were teenagers. So, moving forward, AI, it's still fairly new. Right. As it evolves, do you think new laws will have to, be made in order to evolve with AI?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have seen our laws change and evolve with technology.
Yeah.
When automobiles came years and years ago, computers, even now financial currency with Bitcoin, you see laws adjusting for technology. And you're going to see it here with this kind of technology, especially where it has the potential to engage in, violation of a person's privacy rights. So, I expect that we're going to see state, federal legislators have, special kinds of hearings in terms of the impact and what's happening and how to curb this back. So, and I think if you're the app creator, you're really worried right now about the regulation that's going to befall your company.
Because you could be held responsible for all this. All right, Hector, you've been great breaking down all 4 big legal cases. We so appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.